Hey, look, it's Joey. Joey Tribbiani, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody clap. Hello, everyone. Hosting Joey Tribbiani is I, Gibson Shamar from Hikati Media. This week, we're going to talk about Joey, the spin-off show from Friends centered on the fan-favorite member of the original show's cast, Joey. We all know how this goes. I will talk about the characters first, then talk about the show itself. So let's get to it. Joey Tribbiani, he's the main character of the show. He would be, the show is called Joey after all. He's an actor who finally got the chance to move to Hollywood so that he can better his career. He spent all of Friends struggling to get roles and would often mess things up whenever he did. His career as an actor was not going well enough to say that it was his main source of income. In this show, it seems that he's had better luck. He's still as dumb as ever, decided, determined, and loyal. Gina Tribbiani, she's Joey's sister. She appeared in Friends but was played by a different actress. Here, she's played by the ever-so-beautiful Drea Di Matteo. Just the name itself is muy caliente. She's rough, she's tough, she's street smart, but not very book smart. In fact, she's not book smart at all. I don't even get how she had a genius as a son. She is extremely overprotective and overbearing. She has no regard for your personal space and will physically harm you if you annoy her enough. Her overprotective and overbearing nature made her raise Michael to be socially awkward. Seriously, this guy could not catch a break. We'll get to him in a bit. We can just close off this part about Gina without dropping the very obvious bit that she's good. She's very, very good. She's very, very, very good. Moving on, we have Michael Tribbiani. He took his mother's surname because the father was absent. As we learn later on in the show, his father didn't even know that he was a father. It's not like he ran away from the responsibility. Michael is an aerospace engineer and works at Caltech. He is nervous around women, doesn't really have that many friends that are sociable. They're all awkward and he has a serious rivalry with one of them. I was surprised that they were even friends. He loves Star Trek and other references. He's one of the few people from back then that loved Star Wars and Star Trek out loud. Back then, it was kind of a taboo thing to love both franchises, since they were both rival sci-fi franchises. At their core, they deal with different issues, but I think it had something to do with the word star being in their titles that really made them be rivals. That all changed when a Star Trek director was hired to direct a Star Wars movie that was to be released in 2015. That was the start of almost every problem we have with Star Wars today, but that's not what we're here to discuss. I'll express myself on that part later. Michael, aside from his socially stunted behavior, is a pretty nice guy. He's kind, he's considerate, and very desperate to get out of his mother's shadow. He really wants to step out into a world of his own design, and he acknowledges the limitations that his mother's raising methods have brought upon him. Yeah, he's self-aware. Then there's Alex. She's a lawyer, she's ditzy, and only book smart. It appears that she didn't have much of a social life growing up and has a sort of inferiority complex with her sister, who never appears in the show. She has low self-esteem and, quite honestly, I don't think she has any friends. It's weird. Anyway, she starts off being afraid of Gina even though she has all sorts of legal means of defending herself against her, even without having to go to court. But it's a comedy show. We take what we can get. Bobby. Bobby. She's a blonde. She's very, out there. She's expressive, kind of sad. And I mean that her life situation is sad. Not that she is sad. She's Joey's agent and has a crush on Michael. She's constantly harassing him or flirting with him. She's a drunkard as well and likes to make use of the people around her in unconventional ways. She makes her assistant do tricks. That's some really weird stuff. She's sarcastic, witty, and doesn't really take anything personally. Yeah, I know. She's always calm and collected. even in her loosest days. Watching her on screen, you'd think that she's an amusing person, but in real life, you'd feel very depressed if you had to keep being around her for extended periods of time. Now then, the show. The show was a comedy and a spin off from Friends, commonly referred to as the greatest sitcom of all time. I wouldn't know how true that assessment is because I've barely tapped into the realm of sitcoms. What I can say is that it was good for its time and got a chuckle out of me a lot more than a lot of sitcoms I've watched. Joey, although good, was a noticeable step down from Friends. It had its moments, but honestly, it could have been far better than what it ended up being. The story was nice at the start, but the characters started becoming cartoonish at some point. At least in Friends, everything was kept realistic. But in Joey, they became sort of caricatures of what cartoon characters would be like. A lot of instances that we see in the show are things that would not take place in real life. The biggest example I can use is Alex being afraid of Gina in her own apartment. Yeah, I get that Gina is tough and all that, but there are so many instances where Alex's fear of Gina made me sigh and roll my eyes. Dude, you own the place. You can have her kicked out in more ways than one, and you can easily find a replacement for Joey as a client if he decides to step out if you kick his sister out. Come on, man. The setting of the show was nice. I like that he moved to Hollywood in order to get a fresh start and be closer to where all the big projects are. Sometimes you think Joey is dumb and wouldn't make it in the world alone, but then you're reminded every once in a while that he's actually capable of having some sort of rational thinking. But then he forgets his car.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
I read about some of the criticism that the show got, and one of the things was about how Joey changed from Friends to this show. I mean, yeah, he wasn't as exaggerated as he was in Friends, but a lot of what he was there was still present in the show. One thing I can bring up though is that he actually changed in Friends. In the beginning, he wasn't an idiot. He was a guy who seemed to have grown up in a broken home, and when Ross had his kid, he seemed to be starting a path of thinking about fatherhood. But then later seasons turned him into an idiot. So them complaining about him changing here doesn't make any sense at all. The way his character was written in that show wouldn't be able to hold up as the lead in this show. Some minor things had to be updated and switched around. He had to be more proactive than before, and that's what he was. He also had to become more independent. He was too dependent on his friends and had a really weird obsession with sticking to Chandler. At some point it didn't feel right, but hey, sitcoms do that kind of stuff all the time. Just because in real life it wouldn't feel right, it doesn't mean that the show has to go down that same path. I was just glad to see him out of his comfort zone in this one. He still slept with lots of women, he was still slow when it came to understanding things, but he was still a good friend to the people around him. That's what got him points with Alex. Ah yes, Alex. He was smitten by her when he first saw her, but then found out that she had a husband and backed off. He still had a thing for her, but eventually it fizzled out. We see her complaining about her absent husband every once in a while, and it all comes to a head towards the end of the first season when he shows up and we see that their marriage really wasn't a happy one. They end up getting divorced and she hooks up with Joey, then falls in love with him. Talk about a girl who has not been through things in life. She also constantly compares herself to her sister. There seems to be some kind of underlying issue there that the show never got to explore fully. By that I mean that we never got to see this sister of hers that she complains about so much. I would have loved to see what she looked like. She probably had blonde hair too, and probably looked something like Rachel. Or maybe she could look like Phoebe. Man, I had a big crush on her when I was watching the show. Not because of her personality. No. She was weird, but she was good. She was really good. She was really good. Plus, thematically, it would bring back the plan that they had, where they revealed that Joey and Phoebe were secretly sleeping together throughout the show. Now you'd have him struggle to choose between going after Alex or going after her sister. It'd be funny. It'd be cool. It'd be kind of like poetry. It would rhyme. And then you see who fans respond to the most, then just set them up to be with Joey and tell everyone that it was all part of the grand design. Then we have Gina. Man, she could really get annoying a lot of the time. She's one of those inconsequential characters who keep screwing things up, but never faces any consequences at all, not even a stern talking to. She burned down Joey's house because she snuck into it to fornicate with her baby daddy, and while they were at it, started the fire. Joey was upset, yes, but didn't do anything to her. He didn't even shout at her or anything. It was just, dude, you burned down my house. I can't believe this. And that was the end of it. I mean, yeah, she was the most enchanting part of the show, but sometimes you have to be real with these things, you know? Then she stops Joey and Michael from going to a party because she wants to hold up a tradition only she likes. Come on, yo. She's cool and loyal, but man, she needs to figure herself out because this ain't it, Chief. Her overprotectiveness of Michael was a staple part of her character as well. She treated him like an egg. It's weird because she was a tough, street-smart woman. She could handle herself. She just didn't like having to have her son even remotely be in the same kind of environment that would challenge him. Lady, you must realize that at some point you're gonna have to do that, right? I mean, yeah, Joey tried telling her that indirectly, but he delegated that to Michael, who was scared of telling her that. It's a whole mess of things. The show was well acted and well paced. It wasn't too slow and it wasn't too fast. It was just right. It took its time with certain things, and that was great about it. The reveal of Michael's father was cool too. It's just a shame that it had to be done in the same episode that he was introduced in. I guess the audience would have put it together before the show revealed it anyway, so it's fine that it ended up being the way it was. I like Jimmy and Gina's relationship. They were always arguing and always getting to know each other inside and out. And they would do it everywhere, whenever they could. It was amusing to watch. Many people would like a relationship like that, where they can't live with each other, but they can't get their hands off each other. They had raw passion for each other. Maybe if Jimmy were around to raise Michael, Michael would have turned out a bit more normal. He wouldn't be an idiot, since Jimmy himself was a genius. He'd just guide Michael to follow the same path. One downside was when I saw Jimmy working for Joey and they wanted to start a firm together. Joey fired Jimmy for being too efficient at his job. Jimmy actually pulled himself together and got things going the way one could only dream of. But Joey screwed it all up because he had a limited vision of what he wanted the firm to be like.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
I wasn't even disappointed at this point because I was used to seeing Joey self-sabotage. He did it so many times in Friends. In this show, it wasn't a surprise anymore. It was just a shame because they made a pretty good team together. Maybe future episodes would have shown us more of that. Ultimately, the show only had 2 seasons and was cancelled after that. It didn't end, it was cancelled. The official reason given is low ratings. I mean, yeah, they were very low in the end compared to when it started. When the show started, it had 18 million viewers. The finale was watched by 4.1 million. That's less than half of the viewership in the beginning. That's a big deal. A very big deal. Unfortunately, it having been cancelled left a few things in the story out there. Like I said before, we never got to see Alex's sister. We never got to see if Michael ever meets anyone solid. We never got to see the ups and downs of Gina's marriage. Plus, I think that it's really weird that her siblings didn't show up to her wedding. I also think that it's weird that Joey didn't invite Chandler to come watch his sister's wedding. In fact, he never mentions Chandler at all in the show, even though they were best friends and friends. I mean, yeah, sure, the actors didn't want to appear in this show because they had moved on with their lives, but we're talking about just mentioning the characters. Not even that was allowed? Jeez, man. My favorite character in the show was Alex. Although she's not Gina, she's got something going on that endears me to her character. It would have been Michael, but the guy is just really pathetic. I can't. Jimmy would have been it too, but I just ended up gravitating towards Alex. You can't blame a guy. So that's all we have for the Joey Talk, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. I was told not to watch this show because it's bad, but I enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought of it by leaving your comments in the section below. Please check out our Facebook page, Instagram page, and blog for more of our unique content. You'll definitely enjoy it. Thank you, and have a good day.